Good morning, everybody. We are here for a Government Operations and Fiscal Policy Committee work session. Today, we have a pretty packed session with 7 items on the agenda, and they're all focusing on the FY21 to 26 CIP. We're going to be reviewing recommendations for the asbestos abatement, Montgomery County Government, Council Office Building renovations, energy systems modernization, EOB HVAC renovation, facility planning for Montgomery County Government, the Montgomery County Public Schools bus depot maintenance relocation, and the Red Brick Courthouse structural repairs. I want to, of course, welcome our friends from Department of General Services and the Office of Management and Budget, and thank everybody for taking the time to be here. I want to thank our council staff for their amazing work in putting today's packet together. And of course, I know that a lot of, information gathering goes into place. So really want to thank everybody for their work. Want to thank our county executive for sending over his recommended CIP amendments. Obviously, there's quite a bit of work that takes place in terms of reconciling all the different needs and also issues around affordability that we all know we need to address. I also want to mention that this CIP begins to integrate racial equity and social justice considerations, and that is wonderful because I think we're getting into the routine following what the law has required, and it's great to see that kind of collaboration also with our Park and Planning Commission, as well as Council of Governments that has provided some information as well, and I think it's all coming together really, really well. So with that, let me thank Mr. Naimia Nicole Rodriguez Hernandez for putting this incredible work together, and they will walk us through these items. And so what we'll do is that I'll have them present. They can point out to us our decision points and the recommendations they have made, and then we can engage in a conversation if necessary. If not, if everything is great and there are no questions, et cetera, we can always vote through no objection. So with that, let's start with item number 1, which is asbestos abatement. And I believe Mr. Mia will walk us through that one.
Good morning, committee members. The agenda is more deceiving than it looks, even though there are a number of items. They are all fairly straightforward and non-controversial. I'll walk you through the packet really quickly.
Hopefully they're non-controversial, Mr. Mia. But you never know around this place.
we can
always find a way.
We can always hope.
It's true.
No, please go right ahead.
Okay, I'll just walk through the packet in no particular order. On page 2, you'll see the main project with any significant change has been the council office building renovation. The committee already reviewed this on the March 8th session, as well as the council voted last Tuesday to approve a supplemental. This is a $500,000 increase associated with the renovation of the COB to accommodate an 11-member county council. Staff recommendation is that we concur with the executive's recommendation.
All right, Mr. Dice, anything you want to add with that about that?
No,
we
except
that conversation.
We with the supplemental approval, we have begun the planning work and are committed to meeting the schedule, and we'll work closely with county staff throughout the process.
Great. I would just point out that, as it says in the packet, there was a language added to the project description on phase 4, part B, including reevaluation and assessment of the cafeteria kitchen as potential renovations.
Yeah.
This is something that we discussed last time.
Yeah,
so
we are committed to looking at that. And again, as I said today, that we'll continue because we know how important this issue is as far as some food service and resource to the county council and council staff. So we'll continue, as I mentioned, to bring council staff involved in this and provide feedback to you all.
All right, colleagues, without objection. All right, thank you so much. Okay, next.
On the bottom of page 2, you'll see under subsection B, these are projects with acceleration delays or other schedule adjustments. The asbestos abatement project had a acceleration of $1,000 roughly from FY21 to FY20. This covers asbestos treatment activities throughout county facilities. Council staff concurs with the executive's recommendation. There are really no issues here.
Okay, without objection. All right.
Next up is facility planning, MCG. Again, an acceleration of $23,000, primarily due to staff charges that have occurred on recent dispositions that have been coming to the council. As an update, there are a number of studies underway in FY21, including Clarksburg Library. The program requirements will begin development likely early next year. I will note there's a standalone Clarksburg Library project which just funded full design and construction activities. Fire Station 39, there's an identification of potential sites in progress. And Chevy Chase Library redevelopment, there have been a number of, DGS has received a number of expressions of interest from developers and has received community input, and they are evaluating their next steps. Staff recommendation is to concur with the executive's recommendation on this project.
Thank you. Councilmember Katz.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just wanted to point out that for fire station number 39, though they're certainly looking for a site, for those who might be interested, that site involves the Montgomery Village area, service area.
Excellent. Great. All right. Without objection, we will accept that recommendation.
On subsection C, page 3, these are projects with technical adjustments and funding shifts. Most of these are related to appropriation funding switches, so energy systems modernization, no cost change, simply a funding switch, and the recommendation is to concur with the executive's recommendation.
All right. Any objection to that? Nope. Great. We'll accept that.
The next up is EOB HVAC renovation. This is a reduction of excess appropriation of 1.6 million GO bonds. The funding is not needed at this point. There is a study underway to assess the options for this building. Until that study is complete and options selected, there is no additional funding needed at this point. And so the council staff recommendation is to concur with the executive.
All right. Any objections? Nope. Okay, we accept that recommendation.
Red Brick Courthouse, same issue, a removal of excess appropriation of 1.7 million GO bonds. The project is currently on hold. There are a number of stabilization activities planned in out years, but at this point, no additional appropriation is needed. Therefore, the recommendation is to concur with the executive.
All right. I see no objections being expressed, so we concur.
Okay. Under subsection D, bottom of page 4, there's no decision to be made. It's simply an update on various energy savings projects underway that are funded by utility merger funds that the county received several years ago. Just to highlight, these are small, easy to implement projects that are they'll be complete over a short period of time and will begin generating energy savings. And so this is simply an FYI for the council.
Any comments or questions? Without objection, we will accept that.
Okay. And finally, we have DGS staff present, as well as Ms. Essie McGuire and Mr. Todd Watkins from MCPS to discuss the MCPS bus depot relocation status and what is currently, what activity is currently underway and what's planned. I will note that the council has received a number of constituent letters from residents of the King Farm community that have expressed opposition to relocating the bus depot in the King Farm community. Perhaps we can also speak to that, those letters that have been received. I will turn it over.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Dias, who would like to give us an update on this very important issue?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. We have met with some citizens groups with the executive from the immediate surrounding area of the current depot location, and I can speak to the King Farm residents that our plans do not include relocating the buses to that immediate area, so they can rest assured of that. We do have a plan underway, and I have briefed some council members on that, and I believe we have more briefings to come, including
I don't know if it's me or is it you, Mr. Dias? It's Mr. Dias. Oh, you're breaking. Uh-oh. Mr. Dias, I think we lost you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So,
okay, now we can hear you.
Okay.
If you could start over, because I think we missed most of what you said.
Okay, fine. It says the host has stopped my video, which is probably a good thing. So we have met with some residents and in the immediate surrounding area. I can assure the residents of King Farm that our plans do not include their area, so they can be rest assured in that respect. And we have provided briefings to some council members and are happy to provide briefings to others. I believe, Ms. Navarro, we have a briefing scheduled for you coming up. And again, are happy to provide other briefings. As this matter does involve some confidential property issues, we're not prepared to discuss them in detail, but I can state with great conviction, as he expressed to the community representatives with whom we met, that the executive maintains this as a high priority for him to clear this site out and open it up for the planned residential development that has always been and highly anticipated in that area. And a lot of this, we have also spoken with the school superintendent about the larger plan in this respect, and schools are working with us in this regard. A lot of this is contingent upon some other projects. We do anticipate putting something related to this larger effort into the next full CIP. So we'll been working with OMB on this for inclusion in next year's CIP, and want to applaud our school colleagues for their aggressive efforts to converting the fleet of school buses from diesel to electric, which will have a great deal of impact on our project. The reality is, as the council members know, with all such projects, it does take time to do this, and including this in the CIP, along with other changes. We're still looking at a 5 to 10 year process to do this, and the residents that with whom I and the county executive met acknowledged that everyone would like to see this problem resolved overnight, but there are just realities to capital planning and capital projects and capacity in the CIP. But the desire is to see a firm, full commitment in the CIP to do this, and that is the executive's commitment. And frankly, I believe I can, from talking with many of you, that it's your desire to see the same thing. You've just wanted to see a definitive plan, and we are very close to a definitive plan, and I look forward to sharing that in detail as soon as possible. So I think I can say for the first time, we have a solid direction. We're working with our schools colleagues, and more can be shared individually with you, and hopefully very soon in a public forum.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Dice. I guess my only comment, and I look forward to the briefing. I understand that there are particular issues that have to be discussed privately because they include negotiations with, potential sites and acquisitions and things of that nature. But, I totally understand why the community has been so frustrated because there has not really been a lot of energy around this issue lately. Of course, we have been dealing with a pandemic. It's been really difficult. I understand that. I'm not going to not note that very important element. But there is no doubt that this is working against many of our stated goals of economic development, of housing, everything that we talk about. It includes transportation access. I mean, there's just all these different elements that are contained within this particular project. And so I think it's imperative that whatever potential issues, whatever potential proposals, et cetera, that at some point the community gets a sense of what are we talking about here? What is the timeline? It's difficult for the council, as I have sometimes been able to share with the community. I mean, we can only do so much because in terms of deals to acquire property and those types of things really rest squarely with the administration, of course, in collaboration with the school system, because this is, after all, their buses. But it's a bit frustrating not to be able to have something more substantive to propose. I also know as you stated, that this also involves a lot of challenges because every time, the few proposals that came forward in the past have been have been met with a lot of resistance from community members. And so I think that no doubt with the electrification of buses, that I think will provide some advantages. Hopefully that will, ease the resistance, but that's not an overnight issue, transition either. So lots of things to discuss, but I just want to just register my interest in making sure that sooner than later, the community begins to understand what is the possible timeline here and what it is that we're facing. Know that, go ahead, Mr. Dyson, then I'll turn to Councilmember Katz.
Right. I just state, and I appreciate your comments, and from an outside perspective, it appears that it has been idle. I can assure you it has not been idle at all. We've been steadily working on this for quite some time, but as you observe, Ms. Navarro, that there have been a lot of daunting challenges to this. It is not a small project, in not only in economic sense, but in just physical presence, and because of that, has represented a great many challenges. And colleagues,
we're losing you again, Mr. Dice.
So if you can hear my audio, I'm going to ask Greg to unmute so that if you lose me again, he can pop in. But I just wanted to reiterate that we have been working on this steadily throughout the project, and believe now we have a synergy of efforts that will result in a solution. And we'll come back with a definitive scope and timeline in relatively short order, within a matter of months. And again, as I mentioned, we hope to put this in next year's CIP, so the public can then see a full-blown schedule.
Got it. Okay, I'll turn over to Councilmember Katz, and then perhaps we can also hear from MCPS. I know we have Mr. Watkins as well as Ms. McGuire here with us.
Well, thank you very, very much, Madam Chair. I don't have to tell you, or the public, candidly, how near and dear this issue is to both of us. It is in the 3rd district, in my district, but it certainly was literally within a stone's throw of your district, and it affects many people that live in the 4th district as well. And I can tell you that the county executive, and it's been well said today, but the county executive, and pretty much every one of our conversations that this comes up, has been committed to trying to figure out what to do. The issue is that we can figure out where the buses shouldn't be. We just couldn't figure out where the buses should be. And I think that's a huge issue with us. But I know that the people that live in that area and beyond have been very, very concerned. I think it needs to be underlined that that it was promised by this council before I was here, and perhaps even before you were here, Madam Chair, that it was promised that these buses would be moved, and we are doing everything we can to fulfill that promise. I certainly keep it in mind, and I know that it's there as well. It's easy. I think we have been very, very fortunate along the way to have Mr. Watkins from MCPS and now Ms. McGuire, who worked on this issue when she was with the county council, to be involved now on the other side of the coin, to figure out what we can do and work together to get this accomplished. I'm somebody that would like to do things sooner rather than later. And because of the really the fortune of switching over to the buses, changing them from diesel to electric is a great help. If we could do something as we're switching over, that would be helpful. I don't know how that works in the scheme of the whole world, but I think we need to keep our public informed. What we're doing, how we're doing, and to your point, Madam Chair, to the timeline, And I also believe that we need to try our best to stop the misinformation that goes out. I know the whole thing for King Farm and other areas, misinformation has a way of having its own legs and running on its own. And therefore, once we hear the rumors, we need to stop the rumors as quickly as we can. We have enough problems on our own without new problems, and that was never correct. So anyhow, thank you all. And I want to very publicly thank Mr. Dyson and Mr. Assant as well. I know that they have continued to work on this. I know that it has not been easy for them, and I know that they know how important this is. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Katz. And the only thing I would add is that this was a promise actually made jointly, because it was then County Executive Leggett's administration who did work out a lot of the details of that particular proposal and that deal and that redevelopment. And this was an element included in that agreement. And so it has been, as you stated very well, very challenging because, of course, in a county like ours with not a lot of land available, it's always difficult to be able to find the logistics to relocate the bus depot. But, you know, we have to continue trying. And I think that that is something that I'm glad that we're seeing some, steps taken to see if we can get to that place. So let me see from MCPS, any additional thoughts, Ms. McGuire and Mr. Watkins. Ms. McGuire.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we are very hopeful and appreciative of the work that has continued in partnership with our county colleagues, of course, around this issue. So I think, again, we are hopeful that we are making progress. And really our interest, of course, is in a permanent solution and a permanent relocation with a full plan. I do just want to emphasize it's a lot of infrastructure, and we do know that, as was stated, it's easier said than done to say where it can be housed, but we do know that there is a need to support this infrastructure, and it needs to be strategically placed within the county in order to keep some of the operational efficiencies that we always try to put into place to be good stewards of our resources. But again, we just appreciate the collaboration, really look forward to continuing to talk through solutions, and just our interest again is just in a full permanent support solution for all of the infrastructure.
Thank you. Mr. Watkins, can you tell us a little bit about again, just to remind our viewers, the great news, of course, that was announced regarding electrification of buses and how there will be this phase in, but how would that then also affect some of the details of what will be required in now, for example, relocation, how that changes things, because obviously it'll be different sort of facilities that will be needed, et cetera. So how does that enter into this conversation?
Sure. So we anticipate changing over the entire bus fleet over the next replacement cycle. We've invested a lot of money in the diesel buses we have, so we're going to let them live out their natural life and replace them as soon as they retire. And so we will anticipate being electric, should be 100% electric 14 years from now, which is a pretty aggressive changeover. I think the most aggressive in the entire school bus world in the country. And so we anticipate building, according to the timeline that Mr. Dice spoke about, we anticipate building a replacement facility from Shady Grove with not having diesel fuel site there. We think it will be less objectionable to neighbors because we don't think we will have, the same kind of engine noises and the perception of diesel fumes, right? I mean, diesel now compared to diesel in the early 2000s, it's so much cleaner. There are no diesel fuel fumes around our depots that people see or smell or anything like that, but there's still this perception that there is. And so I think when we talk about moving over to electric, not only will we not need the large fueling site like we have now, buses will charge in their parking spaces, but I think we'll get rid of the perception of this kind of cloud of diesel fumes that we saw a couple decades ago.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I just want to reiterate that timeline of 14 years doesn't mean that it'll take 14 years to relocate the bus depot.
No.
No. Right.
No.
But I think that allows for sort of a different dynamic as this is being, faced in, which I think it's a positive.
Yes, we'll be planning on concentrating electric buses into this new facility so that we do not need to have fueling issues and things like that. And even if we start with a small number of diesels there because we just don't have enough electric, let's say we go ahead of schedule, we'll fuel them somewhere else and things like that. So we'll work around the logistics of that with the anticipation of being all electric at that new facility as soon as possible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I want to reiterate that this conversation, really does center on the micro level, which is what was promised to that community, but also the macro level in terms of our policy goals. I mean, we have been very, direct about the fact that we want to promote economic development, walkable communities, access to transit. All of these issues really are interrelated, and that is a very important project, generally speaking, because it is next to Metro and because it has all of those elements that are so attractive. So, for a lot of different reasons, we need to make sure that we move forward and we get to a point where we can start realizing that vision. Okay, great. So with that, let's see, Mr. Mia, what is it that we're supposed to do here? We got so sidetracked with the conversation.
There are no other issues to vote on. We've already on all issues. Yes. So.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Well, that was kind of a record time for a lot of items. Mr. Mia was right. It wasn't anything real controversial, but that will come, I'm sure. So everybody, thank you so much. I think with that we are adjourned. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.